you're a Windows user. You are sick and tired of being tracked by software that has an update schedule about as reliable as a BMW with 200,000 miles on it. You hear about this thing called Linux and want to give it a try. You realize that there are over 1,000 Linux distributions to choose from. You do some research. You come upon two options that people highly recommend for ditching Windows: Zorin OS and Linux Mint. Well, today I'm gonna lift the veil on these two. I'm gonna pretend this is my first time downloading Linux and walk you through each one. And at the end, I'll give you my best recommendation for which one to choose as your very first Linux distribution as an ex-Windows user. Let's dive in. Okay, so first we're gonna download Zorin OS. We're gonna go to zorin.com/os/ and we're gonna go to download Zorin OS. And we are going to do the free version. So this is going to be Zorin OS 18.1 Core. We're going to go ahead and hit download here. I am not going to put in my email address. And we're going to go ahead and download the ISO file. We're looking at a 3.6 gigabyte ISO. Not crazy large, not the largest I've seen, also not very small. Okay, the ISO is downloaded, so these are the steps you're going to take to install Zorin OS. Obviously, you need a computer capable of running Zorin OS. Today, we're going to put it on my Lenovo ThinkPad T470. You need one USB flash drive with enough capacity for Zorin OS. That's going to be 4 gigabytes for this version. You also need an external drive or cloud storage to back up your files. You don't have to do this, but like it says, optional, very recommended to do that. Now you're going to download the Zorin OS ISO, which we just did, back up your data, optional but recommended, and then you're going to create a bootable USB install drive. Here are the instructions for creating a bootable USB drive. Read these thoroughly. This will tell you everything you need to know, the program you need to download, in this case it's Balena Etcher, and how exactly you're going to flash the USB drive with the Zorin OS ISO. I've gone over that in other videos, so we're not going to go over that today. We're just going to have you read through these instructions. If you don't know how, they are very thorough. They will get the job done. Okay, here we are. So I chose try Zorin OS so I could get my capture card working, but you could have just clicked on install Zorin OS. So I'm going to go ahead and click on install Zorin OS here. Double click, and here we are in the installer. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit continue, set up our keyboard layout. We're going to go ahead and connect to Wi-Fi. Okay, Wi-Fi came up, that's good. So we're going to install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and additional media formats. I'm also going to click on do not participate in the census because I don't want to participate in any census. So for this, we're going to erase disk and install Zorin OS because I'm just doing a complete fresh install on this laptop, and hit continue. That is my disk drive, so I'm going to go ahead and hit install now and continue. Set our region here, and then we're going to go ahead and set our username and password. Not going to click on use Active Directory. Don't know why that is there. And I'm going to hit continue and start the stopwatch. All right, that took exactly 9 minutes and 3 seconds. We're going to go ahead and restart and pull the USB out. Not sure when is the best time to do that. Okay, there it is. And enter. Laptop is starting back up again, and we should be into Zorin OS. I will have to reconfigure my monitors again so that we can get the monitor on screen capture. So I'm going to do that first. You don't see the login screen, but it is here, and I'm logging in right now. Let's see. I'm not sure if we're going to have any audio from the desktop, but all right, so here we are in Zorin OS. We're going to go ahead and start the tour. I'm a brand new Windows convert to Linux user, and we're just going to do this as if, hey, I want something that's just like Windows, and I just want to be able to navigate it in the graphical user interface. Start the tour. Open the menu to launch apps. So that's down here. Pretty Windowsy. Not bad. Okay, so first off, we have updated software has been issued since Zorin OS 18 was released. Do you want to install it now? Yes. So normally I would go to a terminal, I would install updates. but I want to do everything in the GUI here. So we're going to go ahead and just hit install now. And we're going to go to the software updater, put in my password, and we're going to be updating the system like this. This would probably go a little bit faster if I was connected to Ethernet, but I am on Wi-Fi right now. All right, so the update is complete. We're going to go ahead and hit OK. It's not going to have me do a reboot or anything, so I'm going to go ahead and go next on this. Choose your desktop look with Zorin Appearance. All right, let's do it now. Launch Zorin Appearance. All right, so here you can change the appearance of it. You've got like the regular start menu look. You've got the more compact look. You've got the sort of Mac OS-y sort of like icons on the desktop look. You've got like a scrolling sort of setup here, kind of more like, I guess, GNOME. I'm not sure 100%. You can also get more desktop layouts here. We're just going to go with the standard. This looks like Windows desktop. Themes, you can go ahead and change the color here. Let's go ahead and make it dark. Love me a good dark theme. Ooh, and it changes the background too. And I'm going to change the accent color to orange because I'm a fan of orange. Here you've got some effects. You can enable animations. There's a jelly mode, I believe. So when you move, yeah, so it does that kind of a thing. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Don't really like that. Desktop cube, switch between workspaces. So this is if when you want to switch between workspaces, it shows basically like a little cube of your workspaces in the middle. I'm going to leave that off. I'm also going to leave spatial window switcher off for now. We're just going to have this be as Windowsy as possible. Desktop, you can change the zoom here. You can have icons on the desktop or just completely have your desktop clean. Change your icon sizes. Here you can have the home, trash, like the mounted drives, network servers, things like that. We're going to leave the trash and the home up there, kind of Windowsy. On the Windows menu, where the new windows are open, you can change that here. The action key, which is super, which basically brings up the menu. In this case, it does it like this. Let's go ahead and go with layout and change it to this and see if that changes the action key. No, so the action key still does that. So basically the action key, you can switch to your other desktop here with the action key. I'm only going to be using this desktop right now. Not very Windowsy, but that's actually really cool. It's having multiple workspaces is a really cool part of Linux distributions and desktop environments as well. I mean, I haven't really messed with Windows, Microsoft Windows, and it's multiple desktops. Here you have the interface. Actually, let's go back here. So there's the action key. We saw that. You have advanced window tiling. Okay, so we're gonna move on through the welcome app here. So that's Zorin Appearance. Now here's where you can connect your online accounts. I'm not gonna connect any of my online accounts, but if you wanted ease of use of your Google, your iCloud, things like that. Well, maybe not iCloud, but you can connect them through the Connect Online Accounts section here. You can link your phone and your computer with Zorin Connect to easily transfer files. I'm not going to do that right now, but we can go into that in a future video. This is basically the App Store. So I was going to sort of touch on all these things in a future part of this video, but since the welcome screen program is giving me this now, we'll just go through it now. So we're going to go ahead and launch basically the software store. And as you can see down here, it's got a little icon the same. So here we are in the software store. You can see what apps are already installed. We've got Brave for web browsing. You've got your calendar app. Let's see what else is important here. A lot of important things. This is a document viewer. You've got the entire LibreOffice suite, so that's great. We'll go into a couple of those things later. And you've got your terminal if you ever wanted to touch it. Your video player here, you got your weather, and then there's Zorin Connect. So we're gonna go ahead and use this real quick, and we're going to download Steam. I'll show you how to download Steam. So go to the little magnifying glass, I'm gonna type in Steam, hit enter, probably didn't need to hit enter, and boom, there's Steam right there, and I'm gonna install it. All right, so Steam is installed. I did not hit close, it just did that on its own. So we'll go ahead and real quick, just check out where Steam is, maybe under games. And there it is, Steam is installed. I'll go ahead and open it up real quick to see if it installed. So Steam input devices, UDEV rules don't seem to be installed. If you experience issues with gamepads, consider installing Steam devices package using your distribution package manager. See the Steam Flatpak. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just hit OK here, and hopefully we don't have any issues, but I am a Windows user. I am going right into this distro. I wanna play some games. I want to browse the internet. I want to write Word documents and manipulate a spreadsheet. So if that doesn't work right out of the box and you got to do a bunch of stuff, well, there you go. That's just your barometer of, is this a good distro for you switching from Windows, or is this just going to give you a little bit more trouble than you want? We'll compare Linux Mint at the end of this video. We'll go through the complete install, and we will also see if we run into the same issues and how the ease of use for that is as well. But we're not done here with Zorin yet. So Steam just wouldn't open, and we could look up how to get that to work. I'm sure it's not difficult, but I'm a Windows user. I'm going right into this so it works out of the box, and that is the gauge on if I want to go to this distro or not. So far Steam has not opened up. We're going to continue on with the welcome app, and that's it. We hope you enjoy Zorin OS. Well, we didn't 100% yet, but we'll keep moving through it and seeing what we can encounter here. So that was the software store. We're going to go ahead and browse the internet. Wi-Fi is working, so that's a good thing off the bat. I know a lot of distros mixed with certain computers, you will get some Wi-Fi issues. Didn't encounter any there, so that's a plus in Zorin OS's favor. Okay, so Steam did open up. It just took an incredible long time. This is where you'd sign in with your account information. I'm not going to go into Steam right now, but so far it did open. It did work. So we're going to go check out YouTube. Everything's pretty quick. Everything's opening pretty quick here. I'm not encountering any issues with apps opening. Everything seems really smooth and pretty snappy. Faster than Windows, that's for sure. Okay, so we're not really getting any audio through the HDMI, but that's fine. Video looks great. This is a ThinkPad T470 laptop. I think it has 16 gigabytes of RAM. So it's looking pretty smooth. YouTube came up no problem. That's nice. Let's check out Bluetooth functionality real quick. This is usually a major pain point when it comes to Linux users. So Bluetooth, I'm going to go ahead and go into Bluetooth settings. I'm going to see if I can connect to my AirPods. So there they are right there. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes on that. And it does say that they are connected. I got the green light on the AirPods. That's good. I mean, most of the time I will get a lot of devices to connect in Linux, but my AirPods will be the one thing that is a major pain point. Like on CachyOS, I have trouble connecting to my AirPods and getting them to work all the time. I think I had a stretch of a week where I was able to get the AirPods to work that whole week. And then I don't know what happened, but now they do not work at all. So that's just another pain point. But on Zorin OS, as you could see, my AirPods were connected. I just disconnected them, but they were connected. So Bluetooth functionality on Zorin OS, I'm going to have to give that at least 9 out of 10 for AirPods working. All right, volume controls. Let's see if it works on the keyboard. Yes, volume controls on the keyboard work right out of the box. That's a good thing. There's mute. Perfect. And then what about backlight, lighting controls? Yes, those work well as well. So that's good. All of the keyboard, volume, and lighting controls work out of the box on Zorin OS on this laptop. That's a plus in Zorin OS's favor. So let's go ahead and open up LibreOffice. We'll go to the Office suite and LibreOffice. So this is your document editor that comes standard. I'm a Windows user. I want an easy to use document editor that just opens no problem. There it is. I have a document editor. This is my first document. Awesome. So that worked great. When it comes to document editors, they're pretty much all the same, but you really want one that's easy to open and easy to find and easy to use. And LibreOffice so far looks great. Once again, I'm a Windows user. I've just installed Zorin OS. I want everything to basically work right out of the box. We're going to go ahead and open up a spreadsheet now, go to Office, and I'm going to guess, I don't know. I don't know which one this is actually. LibreOffice Calc? Okay, so LibreOffice Calc is your Excel spreadsheet editor. And that wasn't me acting in real time. I have never used LibreOffice Calc. I had no idea which one of those programs was actually the spreadsheet editor. So there you go. Brand new user to Zorin OS, brand new user to Linux, able to get into a spreadsheet editor. Now, Excel is a crazy spreadsheet editor. Yes, it has a lot of drawbacks. Yes, it has some bugs still that have not been worked out. I don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes with LibreOffice Calc, but so far it looks like a spreadsheet. You can probably put some formulas in it and get it to work just like a normal spreadsheet. So that's great. Spreadsheet editor open. Okay, now we're gonna go and look at the system monitor. This is a little bit deeper, but I'm gonna see how much RAM this is using at idle. All right, and we'll go ahead and go to resources. Make this a little bit bigger here. So it looks like I'm using 2.2 gigabytes of RAM at idle. Way less than Windows. This is a way more optimized system than Windows already. Windows uses a ton. I'm not even sure how much, like 7 to 15 gigabytes at idle, maybe less, I don't know, but it's way more than 2 gigabytes for sure. Okay, so now we're gonna go just a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole, and I'm gonna open up the terminal. Don't be afraid. And I'm going to see if we have Fastfetch installed. Okay, we don't. So we're gonna go sudo apt install Fastfetch. Okay, so Fastfetch doesn't work. I know you need other packages to make it work. So I'm going to go ahead and sudo apt install Neofetch because we just want to look at some information real quick. Neofetch is no longer being maintained. Fastfetch is the newest version of this type of a program. So I would recommend getting to the point where you can download Fastfetch. But as a new Linux user, this is something you may not even want to do. I just want to take a look at the amount of packages that are installed out of the box with Zorin OS. I'm gonna go ahead and clear in Neofetch. All right, so here we are, Zorin OS. We're using the Linux kernel 6.17. That's a little bit behind because we're already at 7.0. And the packages installed are 1,884 of the depackaged packages and 27 of the Flatpak packages. So a little over 1,900 packages installed. You can also see the specs of my computer right here, so you can know if your laptop or computer is anything like this. This is basically how it's going to run as well. All right, so that is Zorin OS. Now we're going to go ahead and flip the script and install Linux Mint Debian Edition and run it through the same little tests as I just ran Zorin, and we're going to see how it performs as a brand new Windows user switching to Linux. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and download the Linux Mint Debian Edition. We're going to go to linuxmint.com/download_lmde.php, and we're going to go ahead and click on Download Debian Edition. This looks like it's Cinnamon already, so that's what I like. And yes, it is. Sorry, it says it right here. This is Cinnamon. So we're going to go ahead and pick a mirror. Now, this is going to be the one closest to you. Doesn't really matter as long as you're in the same country. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Fremont Cabal Internet Exchange. This is one I've used in the past. Click it, and the ISO will download. Now, if you look here, the ISO is 2.8 gigahertz, and the Zorin ISO is 3.6 gigahertz. So it's a little bit smaller of an ISO. All right, the ISO has been downloaded. Now we're gonna go to the download section here, and we're gonna go to the installation guide. Now, these installation instructions are going to be just about the same as you would do for Zorin OS. So if you want to just go back and follow the Zorin OS instructions, they are going to be exactly the same, but of course you're going to be using the Linux Mint ISO instead of the Zorin ISO. So we'll move from here over to installing it now. You already know what to do. Make your boot devices so that the USB is first, and then we're going to boot from the USB. So we're going to move over to the laptop and go ahead and install Linux Mint Debian Edition. Okay, here we are in. So we've rebooted the computer with the boot drive in. For me, I'm using Ventoy, so I selected Linux Mint Debian Edition, and we are going to go into the installer now. All right, I'm going to change my monitor setup so you can see everything. All right, so this is the live environment. Just like Zorin OS, you can play around in things. You can play around with things here just to get yourself set up and see if you like Linux Mint, how it looks, how it works. I love the Cinnamon edition. I think coming from Windows, It is a spectacular desktop environment. It's very easy to use, pretty customizable. It is just not 100% Windows-like, but it is very Windows-like. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and connect to my Wi-Fi just so that we can get this going. All right, we're connected to Wi-Fi, no problem whatsoever. And we're gonna go ahead and double click on install Linux Mint. All right, so here we go. This is the installer. We're gonna click on let's go. And like normal, we're going to make a bunch of selections based on our information. So we're gonna go ahead and hit yes there. American time zone. I'm gonna put myself over here, and English keyboard. This is where you're gonna put in your user account information. All right, and we're not gonna encrypt the home folder. This is a laptop, so sometimes I would recommend, if you're gonna go out and about with your laptop, to encrypt your home folder so that if your laptop gets stolen, no one can take any of your stuff. But I don't use this laptop for anything but experimentation. Go ahead and hit next. The disk I'm going to install it on is going to be not the flash drive, the 1000 gigabyte, AKA 1 terabyte solid state disk. I'm not gonna click use LVM. I'm not gonna do this manually. I'm a Windows user, and I'm jumping into a Linux distro to see how it works. Hit next. Yes, this will delete the data, and then we'll go ahead and start. I said no, I meant to say yes. Click there again. Okay, so next, and then yes. Install group. We're just gonna leave install the grub boot menu on. Make sure all of this is correct, because once you hit install, you're going. And we're going. The clock has started and we're back. That took 4 minutes and 55 seconds, almost 5 minutes quicker than Zorin OS. And yes, it is a smaller ISO, so that could be the reason why. We're going to go ahead and hit yes here and remove the installation media. I didn't press anything, but I removed it, and we're going to go ahead and restart the laptop here. You can't see the menu, but I was just selecting LMDE. And then once we boot into it, I'm gonna go ahead and change my monitor settings so you guys can see what's going on. Typical login screen, click on your username, put in your password, log in. Change these display settings real quick. They mirror each other. Keep changes. The visual quality might be a little bit better on this than the Zorin half, because I did change my display settings in OBS to make them a little bit more crisp. Now, unlike Zorin OS, we don't have Wi-Fi again. So we're gonna have to go in and reconnect to our Wi-Fi and re-authenticate. Okay, and Wi-Fi is back up and running, and we're gonna go ahead and go through the Welcome to Linux Mint welcome application. Let's go. All right, so here, first off, we have a set of things you can do. We're gonna go ahead and change the desktop colors. We're gonna go with, Mint Y, of course, dark, and we're gonna change it to orange. Pretty simple. So system snapshots, okay? This is where you will set up a system to take snapshots of your file system so that if anything ever breaks, you can always revert to an earlier snapshot. Super convenient. I believe it's like time shift on Mac OS. I don't think Windows has anything like this. So we're gonna go ahead and just say rsync. It's gonna estimate the system size. It's gonna take a snapshot. So we're gonna have a fresh snapshot right now of what the system is like, all the settings, all the configurations. So if anything happens, we can just go back to this and it'll be just like you never left it. It's like going right back in time. So this is where we're gonna set how often we're gonna do snapshots. I'm gonna say we're gonna do snapshots weekly. You can change it to however you want, and we're gonna keep the top 3. So as you know, as it gets to 4, it'll keep the top 3. I'm gonna go ahead and hit next here. These are the files that we're going to basically save, take a snapshot of. You can choose what they are here. I'm just gonna leave it on defaults. Remember, I'm just a brand new Windows user trying out a Linux distro for the first time. Probably say that many times during this video. Hit finish. All right. And then we'll create a snapshot here. I could just show you how to do it real quick. Just hit create. So it's going to be creating a snapshot of the system right now, fresh install. Anything happens, you can go back to this. You can go back to any snapshot. Super easy. All right. Now that that's done, I pressed cancel. If I hadn't pressed cancel and let it go, you would see the snapshot name in this area here. So we're going to go ahead and go out of this. And what's next on the list? Multimedia codecs. Probably gonna want those because, you know, we're gonna wanna watch videos, we're gonna wanna play Steam, we're gonna wanna hear audio, we're gonna want everything to work out of the box, just like it would if you downloaded fresh Windows, but hopefully a lot better. All right, do you want to install Mint Meta Codecs? We're gonna say yes, and we're gonna go ahead and say continue. Put in our password, and it's gonna install those packages. Now, it hasn't asked me to update the system like Zorin OS did, but we're gonna do that anyway, so that's coming. Okay, multimedia codecs have been installed. Nothing else is popping up. We're gonna move on here. So this is what I was just talking about. We're gonna go to the update manager, and this is normally where I would go to the terminal, go sudo apt update, sudo apt upgrade, but we're not doing that. We're doing this all in the GUI today. Do you want to switch to a local mirror? I'm gonna say no. I've had problems with that. Just gonna say no to that. Hit refresh, and we're gonna go ahead and go apply the update. Authenticate with our password, and this is going to update the system just like Zorin OS did, just like you would normally do in a terminal if you were comfortable with the terminal. These are all the updates that are going to be installed. It's really cool. It lets you know what they are before you install them. I'm going to go ahead and trust that these are all the ones I need because this is a fresh install, and I'm going to hit install updates. All right, so done updating, and now we're at this keyboard layout screen. I'm going to go ahead and hit next here. Optimal character set. We're going to go ahead and go guess optimal character set. That's fine. Okay, so we're still installing packages here. Okay, update is done. We're going to go ahead and restart the system now. Always a good thing to do after a system upgrade. All right, so we still got the welcome screen. We're gonna go through that. We did the update manager. Here you can change the system settings as well. So we'll just get right into that real quick. These are all the system settings are. You can go through them all here. Screensaver, you can change the way the workspaces are set up. You can add the night light. There's all the general ones here. We're not going to go through that now. We're just going to click out of that. The software manager. Okay, so we'll just go through this real quick. The documentation. There's the little help center. You can get to the chat room or the web forum for Linux Mint Debian Edition. And here is how you can actually contribute if you want to contribute to the distro. So we'll go through the start menu here basically. It's not called the start menu, but hey, I just came from Windows. This is the start menu. And this is where you have all of your programs here that they live, just like Zorin OS as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and navigate basically what is the software store. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go here and I'm going to think, okay, maybe it's software manager. There doesn't seem to be anything that says like software store. So I'm going to go ahead and click on software manager. And I believe this is the software store for Linux Mint. Okay, so now we're up and running, and these are, let's see, can I see what's already installed? No, so like unlike Zorin OS, I can't just see what's installed already. But as you can see here, there are a lot of popular software choices: Discord, Blender, OBS, Audacity, Spotify. So we're gonna go ahead and install Steam. All right, there's Steam right there. Just gonna go ahead and click on that. It says Steam. I'm gonna press install. This is the additional software that will be installed when I install Steam. You can take a look at all of it here if you like. I trust it. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit continue. Password in, and now Steam is downloading. Spoiler alert, this is probably gonna work. I have ran Linux Mint for years, and I've downloaded Steam, and I've used Steam to game on Linux Mint. Works just fine. I had to, in the beginning, download Proton and Wine to make some Windows games work, but after I got those up and running, super simple, and Steam worked perfectly on Linux Mint for years. I'll show you in a future video how to configure Steam to run Windows games if Proton and Wine aren't already installed on your system. I also didn't notice this before. If you were to click out of here, you would still see the little progress bar down here on how long it's taking to download. I'm a new Linux user. I just want Steam to work. I want to be able to open it right away, get into my account, and download some games. So I could launch it from right here. So I'm just going to launch it from right here. Install Steam installer. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And now, like with Zorin OS, Steam took a while to actually load, but I didn't get an error message like I did with Zorin OS. Or maybe I did. I just didn't read that. It didn't look like the same message. So I'm just going to go with it's not an error message. Could have been the exact same message. But like I said before, spoiler alert, I have used Steam on Linux Mint for years, never ran into any issues at all. This is bare metal, so this is not a virtual machine, so it should run really well. Okay, so just got a couple more messages that Steam was setting up, but I still don't see anything yet. Oh, here we go. All right, so that was about 2 to 3 minutes took for Steam to load up, and here we are. This is where you'd normally just log in and be into Steam. Like I said, I'll show you in a future video how to set up Steam if you don't know how to do that already, and how to set up Proton and Wine. Now we're gonna go check out the Bluetooth settings. So we got a little Bluetooth symbol here. Bluetooth is on. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can connect to my AirPods. All right, there they are right there. Let's go ahead and connect to them. Double click on that. All right, so my AirPods are connected. That's nice. I just disconnected them. Bluetooth functionality with AirPods works great. That's a plus in Linux Mint Debian Edition's favor. Also, it worked well on Zorin OS. I think one of the biggest pain points so far that I've noticed in Linux distros is one of them, sound, and second, Bluetooth functionality. So Bluetooth seems to work here on Linux Mint Debian Edition. Now, obviously the Wi-Fi works as well, so that's not something we really have to check out. I did have to re-authenticate to my wireless once I got into the full install of Linux Mint as opposed to the live session, but that is something I expected. I've seen that on most distros, and it was actually kind of a plus that Zorin kept my login information. That was nice. All right, so Linux Mint Debian Edition comes with Firefox browser as its default web browser. We're gonna go ahead and pop this open and just kind of do the same test. We'll go to YouTube and we're gonna check out to see how video runs. Head on over to Linux Beanie and here's an ad. Awesome. Video kind of choppy actually in this right now. Let's see where we are at we're at 720. Let's just kick it up to 4K, see what happens here. No thanks, I already pay for YouTube. It is a little bit choppy, but you know, that's just OBS. It's actually a lot smoother on my laptop screen, so that's great. YouTube works, Firefox works for web browsing. That means the web is working correct. Volume controls work perfectly on the keyboard, and brightness controls also working well on the keyboard, so that's a plus for Linux Mint Debian Edition. Let's open up a document editor now. Let's see, what do we have? What do we have for documents? We got Office. So we got the full LibreOffice suite as well. I'm a new Linux user. I just want a Word document program that works. We have LibreOffice here. We'll go ahead and open up a new one, a new file. Just do a new text document. What I didn't notice before is that from here, you can actually open up a spreadsheet instead of having to go to Libre Calc, I believe it was. And there you go. And that is LibreOffice Calc, but it's just you can get to it through LibreOffice. I'm guessing that through the File New menu, yeah, you can open up probably every LibreOffice program from the LibreOffice interface itself instead of having to click on each one and opening it separately. Okay, so we're just going to close out of here. We will check out the system monitor to see how much RAM this is using at idle. So I'm just going to type in system. So it looks like, yeah, okay, so system monitor is installed on this as well. Pretty much exactly the same. This might even be the exact same app. I'm just going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger here. And we're using 1.8, 1.9 gigabytes of memory at idle. That is a little bit lower. I think we were using around 2 something at idle. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe we're using a little bit less memory at idle. Also, the ISO is a little bit smaller, so there might be fewer things going on with Linux Mint, or it might just be more optimized for hardware, like the hardware I'm specifically using. Okay, now we'll do a little bit of customizing the desktop. Let's see what we have here. Preferences. Okay, what do we have for preferences? Let's go, so I can change the background here. I like this Linux Mint background a lot. This is my favorite one. Okay, so we changed the background in the preferences menu. You can change the date and time, your account details here. You can add these things called desklets, which are like digital photo frame. Here's a little clock. I'll go ahead and add that. You got a little clock up here. You can edit that and change that around as well. And let's check it out. The preferences. Can I change any of the themes? Oh, here we go. So here are themes right here. So I've got it on dark mode. We'll go to advanced settings. This is your pointer here. You can change to these themes here. It's missing the Adwaita. I don't think it does that. I'm going to go ahead and do DMZ black because that just looks like normal for me. Here's where you can change the application look and color. Here's where you can change the icon look and color. And here's where you can change like the panel, the desktop icon look and color. All right, now we're going to go ahead and install Neofetch. I know because Fastfetch doesn't work on this distro, you have to download additional packages, I believe, or libraries first. So we're just going to do Fastfetch so we can see how many packages are installed in this distribution. So we're going to sudo apt install Neofetch. No Neofetch. Sudo apt install Fastfetch. Okay. So it's actually, this distribution already came with Fastfetch, which is great. That's good to know. So we'll just do Fastfetch here and boom. So 2,198 packages. I will display on the screen how many it was. Actually, I think it was like 1,900 packages in Zorin, and there were some Flatpak packages as well. And this is 2,198, so a few more packages installed in Linux Mint Debian Edition, but also no Flatpak packages installed by default. Well, there you have it, folks. Let's review, shall we? When it comes to ease of use of install, it's a tie. Updating the system came a little more intuitively with Zorin OS than it did with Mint, not to say that it was difficult with Mint in any way. The applications menu was about the exact same. The software store on Zorin was easier to find, but the layout is much better in Mint, in my opinion. They both won in my book for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi working, although there was an added perk with Zorin OS where it remembered my login credentials from the live environment. Volume controls worked wonderfully in both distros out of the box, and opening documents was exactly the same as they both use Libre Office. Zorin OS did use a fraction more RAM at idle, but that's just splitting hairs. As for the desktop customization, Zorin OS wins for having more layouts to choose from. Zorin also wins at having less packages installed by default, if you're into that sort of thing. The final verdict: Zorin OS if you want a clean, very familiar desktop experience that you can customize to look just like Windows if you want. Mint comes in a strong second place here, and like I said, I'm really just splitting hairs with my decision. They are both amazing options for someone switching from Windows. What do you think? Are you going to try Zorin OS or Linux Mint Debian Edition? Which one did you like the best? Which one do you use right now? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.